Hey class, welcome to Chapter 12, Section 3, Growing Agriculture. So far we've seen changes in transportation, in communication, and now we're looking at changes in agriculture, primarily in that area of farming, of course. And changes have come a long way. Early on, of course, farming is done with an old iron plow with a team of oxen, and being pulled is a harrow, which would help to rake up um, a lot of the hay that had been cut down with a sickle. How did they cut their grains before? They would bend over and swing the sickle back and forth, and it was back-breaking work just to cut the grain. Or they'd use the scythe, and they'd hold it up here high and swing the blade back and forth to cut. And this work was terribly difficult, back-breaking work, manual labor. And this is how farming and cutting of grain and grasses was done for hundreds, if not even a couple thousand years before some of these new inventions took place during this 50, 70-year period in the 1800s. Once they had cut down the hay and, of course, the wheat, can get kernels out of it. Well, how'd they get the kernels out? This is the goal, of course, these kernels here. Well, they would lay the hay down on the ground and whip this a stick, maybe another stick that's attached to it, maybe a heavy rope, and they would swing and swing and swing, and the kernels would fall to the ground. They would break loose from the wheat. So they'd throw the wheat away, and they would take those kernels. Notice the kernels. See all the kernels here in these stalks of hay? They would then take them to a mill, often with a horse, maybe manually pushing it around, and the rock on rock friction would grind up those kernels into what we call meal. Meal. And then meal could be used for all kinds of things, right? Especially things like bread, maybe even a pasta, and it was kind of sustained life. This is how farming was done early, how people got what they needed to make breads all the way back into biblical times. This is how they did it. Well, there are a few inventions here that come along that are really going to just help, again, improve life for people. The first one I want to mention is the brand new steel plow, created by John Deere. The plow was created in 1838, and the difference here was that this plow right here was made out of steel and not iron. Earlier ones were made out of wood even, while the steel plow could cut through the earth quickly without gathering dirt. And you can see how it would work here. You have the handles, notice this man here holding the handles, and this part up to a horse they'd pull, they'd cut through the soil with this blade. And the iron plow, the dirt stuck to it, didn't go through very smoothly. The steel plow slid right through. Nearly every single person moving west in the 1840s, 50s, and beyond had a John Deere steel plow with them. It helped enable the West to be opened up. This land in the West had never been farmed, and so it had a lot of rocks, a lot of tough stuff in it, but the steel plow helped to open that up thanks to John Deere's contribution. Another resource that really changed the way farming was done was Cyrus McCormick's reaper. It was invented in 1831. The purpose of the reaper was for cutting and harvesting grain. No more sickles. This device you could now pull behind a horse. It would cut the wheat, and then these blades would spin around and gather the wheat. It made life so much easier for farmer. The reaper could cut 6 acres of oats in one day pulled by a horse. 6 acres in one day before was the work of 6 men. This could now be done by one man. So with the reaper, they could cut and harvest 6 times faster. Notice this picture here, how they used to gather the hay. They'd rake it up with this, bending it very physical, where now this device, the blades flip through and can gather the wheat, the oats, whatever it is, with this machine, really improving the quality of life for the farmer and allowed them to farm a lot more land, therefore it made them more money. And then a fifth invention out today is Eli Whitney's cotton gin. Well, if you've ever seen cotton, cotton comes with a lot of kind of thorns and stickers, and the cotton holds really tight to its branch. It's really hard to get that off it. It's easy to pick it, it's hard to clean it. And cotton was losing some of its affordability. It was becoming too expensive. And it was kind of making slavery even like a dying function. Why do we need slaves? Because we're not making enough money with cotton. Well, Eli Whitney, his goal is not to help slavery, but it's to clean cotton faster. So this machine here, you'd put the cotton on this side with its thorns and stickers and all, and then you would spin this handle around. Well, tiny blades would go through these slats. These slats here, the blades would go through, and those holes are wide enough for the cotton to go through, but not wide enough for those stickers and thorns to go through. So the more you would spin, the cotton would go through and end up being clean. The thorns, the stickers left on this side. And it cleaned cotton, and this made cotton economical, affordable. Here's a larger cotton gin later on. I want to draw your attention to this chart here in the bottom. Notice the impact of the cotton gin. Here are production in bales. 1790, barely a skosh here. 1793, the cotton gin gets created. Notice how after the cotton gin, the number of bales, look at this, up to almost 4 million bales just 60 years later. Just 30 years later, we're at 1 million bales thanks to the cotton gin. And so the farmers actually began to need more slaves. Doesn't make any sense, Mr. Coster. Why do they need more slaves if this machine goes faster? Well, that's because they wanted to farm more land. They got more greedy. They began to move further west and farm more and more land. When I say west, I don't mean California. I mean up to the Mississippi River and even into Texas. And they're farming more and making all kinds of money selling cotton. By 1850, 7/8 of all American exports are cotton. So a lot of money in this industry. Slaves brought in a lot of money for a lot of people, and Eli Whitney's cotton gin does that. Again, not his goal to help slavery, but it does. And but all these industries, all these new inventions are really going to improve and change American life.